Hey guys, I'd like to talk to you today, which is going to be one of those subjects where you're going to have to take a look at yourself to see if there's something that you need to change within yourself before we get on this rampage of complaining about other people. And I'm going to first of all have a confession here right now of my own experience of this. You see, I have a great friend, my best friend, and I remember it must have been about 4 or 5 years ago now, and it got to the point where he was starting to irritate me. Now, I love this guy. We've been best friends for such a long time, but it was one of those situations where we'd come to meet each other like once, twice a week and kind of catch up and share and just generally hang out and have fun. But it got to the point where I would say, or in fact, we'd kind of greet each other and he would say, "Hey, Joseph, how's your day been?" And I'm just about to say how my day's been and suddenly go, "Because my day was X, Y, Z," and he'll just keep going. So it's almost like asking a question, but then talking about himself. So asking a question to me, but then suddenly talking about his own day. And it felt just very uncomfortable for me. It just felt like, hey, what about me here? I mean, you asked me a question and then you're going on elsewhere. And as I began to kind of get a little bit of irritation about this, I thought, well, let's take this behavior as the thing which is really irritating me right now. As I think about this behavior, what's really happening here? And I began to consider and look within myself as to why I dislike this behavior. I mean, it's pretty understandable as to why I may dislike it. But what I really realize is, which is the thing which we've got to look on the inside is, I realized that the behavior I disliked within my friend was that I did it myself. I actually thought about my past, like the past few weeks, my past few interactions with people, and I realized that I was doing the exact same behavior. I was the person who may ask a question and then suddenly talk about all my issues, all my stuff, all my activities throughout the last week. So the very behavior I disliked, I realized I was doing it myself. And that's an interesting learning. So as you think of maybe something which irritates you, maybe you're communicating with a family member and something just doesn't feel right, or maybe a colleague or a boss or a partner, whatever the relationship is, as you consider the thing which you dislike, and I'm not saying it's going to be absolutely within you and you're the person who's got this issue too, but I want you just to at least consider that. Is there something within you which you actually do yourself to a smaller or greater degree? And that means we've got to consider how we can let go of this within ourselves. Because I realized this. As soon as I began to change the inner world of me, so when I began to, in other words, change my reaction and my communication with people, rather just saying, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" because all my stuff, I began to be very conscious of that and then change it so it'd actually be, "Hey, how are you doing? What you been up to?" And then allowing that person to truly speak and answer my question, rather going on about myself. And the interesting thing is, as I began to do that, the behavior of my best friend completely simply disappeared. It was almost like changing in myself changes others. Now that's not, I mean, it sounds very woo-la-la for a start. Like, if I change myself, it means other people change. But there's a common thing. It's been happening for many, many years, and it's been taught about in philosophy, religions, in different spirituality aspects, that we have to change ourselves to change other people. Because whatever we perceive to be true is based on our own belief systems of what we think is true, or our own personally perceptions of what we think is true. So if we change our inner world of ourselves, our inner filters, we will also change how we interact, or something like that, to the world around us. We begin to change our relationship with people and things by changing ourselves. So I want you to be really clear in yourself that what do you have to do on the inside of you? What do you have to let go of maybe, which will then transform your perception of those around you, the things that you dislike, the things you disagree on. Maybe there's a small part of you which is just their behavior is a replication of that or a variation of that, that if you change yourself, they will also change too, because they'll be picking up a whole new energy. It's a really interesting one to consider. It's one of those things where I like you to take time. I mean, every one of these videos, I want you to take it as fact, because at the end of the day, these are just my interpretations of what I think is true based on my own perception or my own learnings through life, the things I've read, the things I've just generally grown. So I want you to try this out. Notice if that behavior or that thing that you're disliking, there's an aspect of you that you need to change. Like a mirror image of that. But if you change yourself, those will change yourself, or those will change as well. I mean, it goes back, be the change you want to see in the world. So be the change you want to see in others. Be the change you want to see in that behavior. Become the shining example of how you want other people to be. So the behavior you dislike, be the opposite. Really allow yourself to grow. And I already believe that you'll begin to see changes. Like I said, there's not something new. It's actually been around for many, many hundreds and thousands of years. But try it on, see what happens. There's all a joyful experiment and experience of, is this really true? If I change myself, do I change others? Let's go play. Let's see how that works. I know it works for me, so let's go ahead and try it out. So I hope you're enjoying this. Have the most wonderful day, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Many thanks and goodbye.